Hey guys, so today we're checking out the S&B cold air intake with the dry extendable filter fitting all 2017 to 2018 5.3 liter Silverado 1500s. This intake by S&B will be a great choice for the Silverado owners who are looking to open up airflow for their motor to allow better horsepower and torque numbers, better throttle response, and overall better efficiency for their 5.3 liter. This intake will improve your airflow up to 40% according to S&B and will offer better filtration to extend the lifetime of your motor. This kit will also come with a large intake tube, getting rid of a lot of that restriction that your factory intake had, creating direct airflow to your manifold. It also will come with a closed airbox system to provide protection to the filter, making sure that large contaminants like heavy dust and mud are away from the filter and protect it from any water intake, which will be great if you live in a wetter climate. This will also come with a dry extendable filter. Now, filter choice comes down to your personal preference. However, a dry filter is usually for someone who wants to do a little less maintenance when it comes to cleaning the filter and wants the best airflow possible out of their system. Now, in order to clean the filter, all you have to do is pop it off the intake tube, spray it with compressed air, and then you can pop it right back into place. Now, you even get to keep an eye on it with a nice clear window up on top of the airbox while also getting a very sporty look for the inside of your engine bay. Now, with what this intake comes with and the construction that S&B offers, overall this is a quality intake in my opinion, providing a lot of benefits for your 5.3 liter and looking good while doing it. Now, when it comes to pricing, this is going to be pretty averagely priced for a cold air intake on the site right now, coming in at about $350. Now, choosing an intake does come down to your personal preference and design when it comes to the airbox and the filter choices. Now, again, this has an enclosed airbox for better protection, which is really better suited for somebody who is in a wetter climate or just wants that extra protection against any large contaminants inside the engine bay, as to where some other options will come with just a metal heat shield or the lower portion of the airbox that seals to the hood when the hood is closed. Now, when it comes to filter choices, some other options will come with oiled filters, which in some people's opinion will offer more filtration and less airflow. Now, the difference between dry filters and oil filters is pretty minimal, but some people prefer one over the other. However, if you are looking for a well-built intake with a dry filter and a closed box design to increase the performance on your 5.3 liter Silverado, then this is a great option to take a look at. When it comes to install, this is going to be pretty easy to install. However, it is a little bit lengthy of a process with all of the small moving pieces. So I am going to give it a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about an hour to get the job done. Now, you will need some basic hand tools to do it, including a basic socket set, some torque sockets, a pair of pliers, an impact wrench or a ratchet, and a pop clip removal tool. Now, speaking of the install, one of our customers here at AmericanTrucks.com has completed this on his own Silverado and is going to walk you through the process. So enough from me, let's hop into the install.
Tools I'll be using here, we got a 8mm socket, 10mm socket, 13mm socket, 7/16 socket. Also have a 5/16 nut driver, a 3/8 extension. We got a 3/8 to 1/4 adapter, and we have a set of Torx bits here, a pry bar for getting these little tabs off this plastic piece, and then a set of pliers. And I'm also going to be using a impact driver instead of a wrench. So first things first, we have to set the parking brake and then come over here and disconnect the battery, the negative post. Now when we get that off, it's recommended to leave the battery, this negative terminal, off for 2 hours. We'll set that over here, make sure it doesn't touch anything metal and ground itself out. So we have to leave that there for a recommended of 2 hours. So it says in the instructions 2 hours, so we'll let it sit for 2 hours and we'll get started. Okay, now we're going to get this MAF sensor off right here. We got 2 T15 Torx bits, one catty corner to each other right here. I'll take these out. And this connector here, mine was previously broke off, but we have a red tab, that you'll have to pull up on, and then you can push in on this black tab here and then lift up on it and it'll come out. This T15 out here. There's your MAF sensor right there. And these are pretty delicate, so you want to set it down somewhere where it's not going to fall off or get damaged. And it's a good idea if you have some type of MAF cleaner to go ahead and clean it now while it's off. 5/16 nut driver. I'll take this clamp off right here. You could use a flat head, but I'm going to use a nut driver, a little easier. Alright, now that's off. Now we're going to go to the PCV breather hoses. I have an aftermarket tube on here, but it's going to be the same for a factory air box. It'll just be a lot bigger. You have one on the left side and one on the right side in the factory air box. My left one is up top and my right one's on the bottom, but it's going to be the same thing. Take this off. Alright. Now you can't see the bottom one, but it's right up under here. Now we got those breather hoses off the intake. Now we're going to take these off these valve covers. And the way you do this is there's a gray tab. You can kind of see it moving there. It's because I'm pushing on the tab on the other side. And basically you push on the other side and you can kind of push down on it and then pull up, and it'll come off like that. Push in on it and pull up, and there it goes. Now with those off, come over here to the throttle body, take this hose clamp off with a 5/16 nut driver, just like we did on the factory intake box right there. Then we can pop this intake out of the way. There you go, get this out of the way. It'll be the same thing if you have the factory air box, it'll just be a lot bigger. Same concept, it'll have a clamp on here and a clamp on the throttle body. The way we do that is we'll have to lift this plastic cover up. You can get this in and kind of lift it up first. Then you can get your pry tool under there and pop it off. And using a flat head, get up under it and pull up. So we'll do that so we can lift the cover up to access the other bolt for this crossbar. Without taking this crossbar out, you can't get to the other bolts on that 10mm socket. Put that off. There's another socket right here. Take that out. Now we got the those 4 screws out of the air box. Now you can take the lid off, and the MAF sensor is actually connected right here with this tab right here. Pull that off, move this harness a little to the side. Take the filter out. Now the bottom of the box actually pulls out. I just separated that fender seal to make it a little easier to pull that box out. Just take this whole plate out. We have this seal for the fender here. I'm going to go ahead and install that on the side of this air box. Just push that rubber seal down on there, like that. And it does have an optional bottom plug that you can put at the bottom of this. Just goes around the bottom, just keep anything from coming up at the bottom. I'm going to opt to leave that out. You can have it in or leave it out, whatever you want to do. I'm going to opt to leave it out. So now we're going to drop this down in here and screw it down using the new bolts and washers that come with the kit. We have these bolts and washer that come with the kit. Drop this down in there. There we go. This support in the back so that filter can sit on that. So let's put these 2 screws closest to the engine in here. Now that we got all the screws and the support all tightened down, we're going to take our filter, our extendable filter, and we're going to drop it in, lined up, and we're going to push it into this hole right here, and it should click, like kind of snap into place like that. Pop into place. Clamp on there. And there's going to be 2 couplings. This 5.3 liter. So I'm going to use this coupling. This side is smaller. It's a lot smaller than the other one. The other side will barely be a step down. This one has a bigger step down, so it's smaller. And so I'll use that because I have the 5.3. Put it on here and use this number 74 clamp. Use the number 74 clamp on here. Tighten it up a little bit so it's not flopping around. And you go ahead and tighten it on this intake 2. Go ahead and tighten it on this intake 2. It's kind of number 64 will go on this side. It's this nut driver. just to, not to tighten it on there, but so it's not just flopping around, and a little easier to handle. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to put this MAF sensor right in here. So basically, we have a little foam piece to seal it. Then we'll have this aluminum billet that it goes, the smooth side goes down. So we'll put the foam piece, then the smooth side of the aluminum billet down, and make sure there's an arrow on here that'll line up with this notch. There's a notch right here. You can see that there's a notch right there. This arrow on this aluminum billet block right here will point to that. So make sure you got those lined up. And you're going to use the bigger screws to screw this plate down onto the intake tube. Has little lock washers on there. Phillips had to screw that down. And you don't have to get these super tight. This is plastic here, so you don't have to get it super tight. So now we can drop our MAF sensor right back in there. Now we will use the smaller screws with those lock washers to screw this MAF sensor down to the aluminum billet piece. Put this intake tube in here in the filter, push it up in there, and then push this up on the throttle body. Make sure they're all the way in. Now we can tighten this clamp for the intake tube using that 5/16 nut driver. Make sure it's straight all the way around. Now, we'll do the same on the throttle body. We're going to reconnect our MAF sensor right here. Just kind of move these hoses out of the way. Now, if mine doesn't have the red tab, but it'll click in. And that red tab will be up. Click it in, then push that red tab down, and it'll click in and lock it. Then we can flip it over here to this PCV line. Get that on there too. To our intake tube. Hose clamp. Put this hose clamp on here and tighten it up a little bit. Just so it don't fall down easy. this side on here. Slide down. Work it up on. Now we'll tighten both of them up. Peel the protective. All right, there we go. Peel this off. And then don't forget, there's a little protective piece right here on this logo. All right. So now we got to put this stripping on it. And I kind of want to start it on this side where it's going to be near the fender in the middle here, and then go around. This rubber's not used to being in this shape, but once you screw it down on this box and leave it for a while, it'll start to form up. I'll just set it down. Now we'll use these screws with the Phillips head and the little rubber washer to screw these down. Start them by hand, make sure they go in there. Make sure they thread in there right. Alright. Now we're going to go through with this Phillips head screwdriver and tighten her down. Just get her real snug. You don't have to torque them down real hard. Alright. That crossbar under there. It goes under, and then the screw goes over. See, the crossbar goes under and the screw goes on top. Then under here, crossbar's on top, and then you put the screw in over that. Same way you took it out. But right there, fold this back and then turn that crossbar back down. Push them in, and then push the top down to lock it in place. And before the installation is completely done, you're going to have to put your ID tag on here. I'm just going to put mine so that you get it. That's what it looks like. All the specs and stuff for the filter. I'm just going to put it in relative proximity to the filter. I'm going to go ahead and put mine right here.
So that is going to wrap it up for my review and install of the SMB cold air intake with the dry extendable filter fitting all 2017 to 2018 5.3 liter Silverado 1500s, and you can find that right here at AmericanTrucks.com.